Going to look at two stories. The first story is Mike Super on America's Got Talent another time, and his ability to cause something to happen that appears like it's not a explanation you can give for it that's a normal explanation.
In my childhood, I had a supernatural spirit attached to me. His name is Desmond. And to this day, I don't know exactly what it is. Some people have called it an angel. Some people have called it a spirit. He's a big reason that I'm doing the show tonight. I'm going to introduce America to Desmond.
Be safe out there.
I will. I will.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you, Howard.
All right, good to see you. What's your name?
My name is Mike Super.
Mike Super.
Yeah, that's my real name, believe it or not.
So, Mike Super, tell us what you do and a little bit about yourself.
I'm a mystifier.
A mystifier.
Yeah, a little different than a magician. Trying to use people's minds and their energy. And tonight I'm going to introduce you to something pretty unique.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to see what you do. I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you, Howard.
All right, real good. Let's see what you got.
I was hoping I could borrow one of the judges. Heidi.
Go ahead.
Would you help me on stage?
Go ahead, Howard.
Big round of applause. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if I'm going to like this.
No, don't worry. Now, it's important. Heidi, you and I did not prearrange anything.
No.
Okay, this is where it gets serious. Heidi, I have here an item. We're going to use this glass pitcher, but before we even begin, I don't want people to think this is sugar glass, okay? Okay?
Okay.
Are you right or left-handed?
Right.
Okay, that's your dominant hand. Hold that with your right hand. I also have here a clear plexiglass chamber for any skeptics in the audience. I don't want anybody to think there's any external influences on what we're about to do. I'm going to introduce you to my imaginary friend from when I was a kid. Heidi, his name is Desmond. I know it sounds strange. He's with me here tonight, and I would like to introduce all of you to my spirit energy, Desmond.
Okay.
Including you, Heidi. But I need you all to be open to it. Are you open to meeting Desmond? Good.
I don't want to meet Desmond.
Heidi,
Yes.
we're going to isolate that picture. What I'd like you to do is you're going to insert it. See how there's a space for your wrist? Don't let it touch the sides. Don't let it touch the bottom.
All right.
Desmond is going to feed off of our energy, audience. Rub your hands together like this. Good. On the count of 3, we're going to release the energy towards Heidi. Heidi, Desmond will contact us in one of 3 ways. You'll feel a temperature change. You may feel the pitcher get heavy. And best case scenario, you will actually see an orb, a ball of light near Heidi's shoulder.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, ready? 1, 2. And Heidi, be open to it. Desmond, give us a sign you're here. And 3. Do it again. Do it again. Ready, Heidi?
I'm ready.
Be open to it.
I'm
Be open to it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Desmond, give us a sign you're here. Give Heidi a big round of applause. Big hand for Desmond!
Desmond is in the building. Him and Desmond are both pretty freaky.
I have no idea what just happened, but I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Hey, welcome to the AGT page. Now click right there to subscribe or to watch more videos.
The second story is about Mickey Robinson, who died in a plane crash, almost died in a plane crash, and had some mystical experiences and also had some healing experiences that don't have any explanation for.
Shortly after takeoff, I don't really recall much because I was kind of dozing off, sitting next to the pilot, or actually sitting on the floor next to the pilot where we moved the seats in this new aircraft. And I was awakened by a sound unfamiliar to me. It was the sound of the motor going completely silent.
Uh-oh.
And the pilot turned to me and he slapped me. He says, "That's it, we're going down." So we just pitched forward and we plummeted straight down at over 100 miles an hour. And what was seen out of the cockpit, and this was told to me, I don't recall this, but we were going straight to the ground, and we're headed right towards a gigantic oak tree. We did hit that tree going, like I said, over 100 miles an hour, and my face stopped my body going 100 miles an hour. So then the airplane cartwheeled on its wings and slammed into the ground. If you see pictures of the aircraft, it doesn't look like anybody could survive this. So there was obviously injury and confusion, and the two students got pushed out the doorway and by one of my friends who was a very experienced jumper. And the fourth man out saw me moving, and the pilot assumed we were leaving too. And just as he was going out, the plane went up in flames. And as he was running away, he heard screaming and realized I was trapped inside along with the pilot. And this brave man who was my friend and went back in the plane and saw me trying to escape where the wing had been torn loose from the airplane. But I was stuck, and but something on my equipment or my clothing was caught, and I was soaked with fuel, and it was on fire from head to toe.
Wow.
And just like you see in movies, a person whose whole body was engulfed in flames. And this is where God did the first miracle. This man grabbed a hold of my parachute harness, and with his bare hands, tore that loose. It's 2,000 pounds tensile strength in each one of those straps.
Wow.
Pulled so hard he pulled his thumbs out of his sockets. Dragged me away from the plane and slapped the fire out. It kept reigniting, and then he tried to go back for the pilot, and he couldn't. He was burned alive. Well, they rushed me off to the hospital. Obviously, it was horrible, and they rushed me off to the hospital and saw that I had sustained very serious injuries. I had a brain injury. I had burns over a large portion of my body. I had to find out my eye was blind, my right eye was blind, and tremendous cuts, and this shock of that crash. They told my family I was going to die. They told my sister to come that day because I was not going to be there in the afternoon. I had an experience I had never heard about. Never heard anything like this. As I was laying there in that condition, just racked with pain and discomfort in every way possible, suddenly my inner man, the real me, my spirit, sat up out of my body, and I could feel my legs go through the springs of the bed.
Wow.
And my spirit came out of my body as if you would take a glove off your hand. And instantly, I was in a spiritual world. Instantaneously, I knew this was the real world. And this man that I was seeing was the real me.
Now, when that happened, were you aware of any pain still? Or
No,
were
I was
you
totally
completely separated from the pain and the carcass?
Completely, no. And I didn't even remember turning around and looking. I mean, I was transferred immediately into a spiritual dimension. And everything about the spirit world is more real than this world. The colors are brighter, the edges of everything are sharper, the emotions are just enhanced, they are clear. And instantaneously, the thing that really struck me the most was there was a complete absence of the awareness of time. Everything in this world is relative to time. You got up this morning, you'll go to bed at night, something is old, something is new, it will get old, something is born, it will die. Everything in this plane, in the physical plane, in the natural plane, is relative to time. But everything in the spiritual plane is relative to eternity. So what had been natural to be aware of time was totally gone. And I was totally aware of eternity. It is shocking. It is stunning to be conscious and to know what eternity is. Also, logic and reasoning doesn't happen there. Based on the sum total of all my intelligent thoughts that I've learned, I've had a death and I'm in the spirit world. It's like you just know that you know that you know. It's like having a revelation constantly, and it was incredible. And I knew I was traveling. I could feel that I was traveling. And as I looked ahead, there was this pure white light. It was whiter than the whitest snow and brighter than 10,000 suns. And yet I could look right at it, and it was compelling. And it was like I was being towed. I was being towed like a tractor being. And as I was looking, I could feel this anticipation.
Wow.
But then simultaneously to that, on my right side, I could feel something, and I looked, and there was this blackness sweeping. Now this blackness, as I looked at it, instantly I was aware of its complete nature. It was eternal, like I was experiencing eternity. It was without any matter. It was without any life. It was void, and it was forever non-negotiable, cut off from the source of all life. And the more that I looked at it, the faster it would sweep. And the more that occurred, the more intense the feeling of the nature of being cut off and sealed forever and separated. It is
horrifying,
horrific. You would not. I used to never be able to stand to be near anybody who could say go to hell after that. Because you wouldn't want the worst person. You wouldn't want Adolf Hitler, bin Laden, Saddam. You wouldn't want any human being to ever go in there. It was so horrible. And as that was sweeping, it got down to, it was eclipsing this light. So there was just it was like you're in a room and you close the door, a dark room, and there's a little space between the door and the door jamb. It wasn't a doorway. This was a real place that I was seeing and that I was feeling. And as it was closing, it was eclipsing. And now I'm standing on the very edge, the precipice of eternal separation. And I scream out of my spirit, I'm sorry, I want to live. Give me another chance. And And just before that was to close, I was standing in the presence of Almighty God.
The first interview of
I
Mickey
would never
Robinson
die.
was done a number of years ago. I've got a second interview of Mickey Robinson where he's going to go into more detail about that spiritual experience he had with that darkness, and also talk about the healing that happened during his recovery as far as his legs were concerned, and also his blindness in one eye that was also healed in a way that doctors can't explain.
I was still recovering in some sense. Now, would I go back and say my complications left me with being blind in my right eye, and below my kneecaps, the nerves were dead all the way down the front of my legs, the top of my foot, up my toes, and then I had bilateral foot drop. You would recall maybe when you were a kid, people maybe had polio or something, you have a leg brace on, both legs were like that. So they said so the doctor, when I was in intensive care, said, I'm sorry, son, he said, you're never going to walk again. The neurologist come in, he tested me, and I said, pulled myself, he says, I'm going to walk out of here. Well, I didn't quite make it, but I did walk again. But I was just using my upper muscles in my, above my knees, my quads and my hamstrings that would drag. They had some kind of rubber thing on there until I could have a leg brace. But I was still, my body was still wide open, a lot of, not skin put together, for 6 or 7 months before it was all closed. But those legs that were paralyzed, I spoke to them. I didn't know anything about healing, Ray. I didn't know how to do that. And they didn't respond.
It's 1 o'clock.
They wouldn't respond. It was like James Dobson's strong-willed child. It was very frustrating. And so I was in a wheelchair. I had leg braces. I had to use crutches. And then one day, like May 15th, they just popped up. I mean, they were just healed. I never got any leg braces anymore. I didn't have to go in a wheelchair anymore. I didn't have any crutches anymore. And it's incredible. And I was blind in this eye for 5.5 years, and I can see. That was 1968 to 1974. They don't explain it. They did an operation. They took the thing off. My eye was dead. They put it back together with a cornea transplant, thinking it'll at least have more of the brown color. There's still scar tissue there. I took for 7 days in the hospital. I said, Barbara, have the nurse block all the windows out. There was no light, no pillow. I just fasted for 7 days, and I kept saying, I can see, I can see, I can see. Now, I didn't know anything about this stuff, but I would just tell you or these viewers, the Spirit of God in you with your spirit, you can do more than you can think, even if you don't have formal training. Now, I'm all about learning. I get to do this with people. I get to train them how to use their gifts, how to do things. But this happened to me. I'm telling you, it happened to me. They took the bandage off after 7 days. They said, oh my God, I can see. And this doctor was one of the pioneers anywhere in transplant surgery. He knew my eye was dead. He told the other doctor during it, he said, well, the pupil didn't work. Iris was wrinkled together. The eye was dead. It was in there, but it wasn't working. And he said, well, do you see like shadows or light? You go, I can see everything. I saw two of everything because my muscles were flaccid. I looked like that comedian, Marty Feldman. One eye was going this way, one this way. It took about 2 weeks to bring them together. And he just said, it has to be a miracle. Right there, Barbara was next to me. She was with me for all those years. I didn't want like 2 or 3 years by then. So she knew me being totally blind and was there when I got sight. And had other things, but I would tell people the biggest thing is a person, and they say, well, why did you see that darkness? Why didn't you just go to heaven? Because I believe it was a representation that for 19 years, even though it had all those attributes that said it was making me cool, my gifts, my physical stuff, the way I looked and all that, I was still in darkness. And I think this was representative of that. I was biologically alive, but spiritually dead. And it got down to a sliver of white light. And I went through I believe that was the time of the crash and me crying out in that ambulance, God, help me, help me. And then I'm sorry, give me another chance. And then so that little space of time, I don't know how long it was, 3 weeks, maybe a month, that was the sliver of light that I saw. God, I was given a space to turn my heart to God.